Welcome back then. On the broader markets, we are seeing some sellers. Just pull up the mid-cap index. We've suddenly slipped in the last 10 minutes. So a few stocks should be up for you on the screen as well. HDIL, when we started off the show, it was holding well in the green. Now that one, in fact, has moved into the red. So just pull up HDIL. India Bulls Real Estate as well. A couple of these high beta stocks, they're getting spanked. So just pull up that stock as well as DLF. So all these three real estate stocks, they've got a bit of a knock in the last few minutes. But just take a look at that. We have Team Lease that's flashing here on the screen. It's 17% off its low point of the day. The management just joined us around 20 minutes back and in fact clarified that yes, they are paying service tax and they have been doing that for over the past few years, and they're fairly confident as well of maintaining that revenue growth trajectory of around 25% plus. But in the last few minutes on the Nifty, we have seen Bharti Airtel as well as Idea. Both those stocks have come in for selling pressure, so not a bad time to get a quick check on the telecom space on the whole. We're joined currently by Tanu Sharma, the Associate Director Corporates at India Ratings and Research. Hi Tanu, thanks so much for joining in. You have in fact revised the sector outlook to stable to negative. Could you give us the key rationale for that?
Yeah, hi. So we have recently revised the telecom sector outlook to stable to negative from stable last year, and that's mainly driven by the increase in the competitive intensity that we expect from the Reliance Jio launch. Now that increase in the intensity will reflect in the falling data ARPUs, an already stagnant voice market, as well as we see a lot of pressure on the credit metrics of telecom operators because they already get laden and they need to invest further into the network expansion as well as to gear up to meet the 4G challenge. So in terms of the 4G launch, they also need to invest a lot in the infrastructure, as well as there are call drop issues. So they need to tackle that. They need to set up more infrastructure in terms of cell sites. So there is an increase in the competitive intensity on one hand, and on the other hand, they need to invest continuously, which will lead to a stressed debt metrics and the credit ratios. So that is the key rationale for why we have revised the outlook to from stable to negative.
Okay, Tanu, afternoon. So can you tell us from the current list of incumbents like Idea, Bharti, etc., who will see the biggest damage post the Rel Jio launch?
I think there could be a market redistribution, market share redistribution, because RGO will try to take away the customers from the existing pie. So all these top three incumbents in their top 5 circles could see the impact. So a lot will depend on where the RGO will start the launch, like what will be its penetration strategy, etc. But we see the top players to get impacted in a similar way. That will depend on which circles they would target first.
All right, Tanu, talking about market share, Idea has been pushing Vodafone rather hard. I think it's trying to get into that second place currently. How do you see the market share shape up going ahead with this launch of Rel Jio?
Yeah, so market share of all the existing players would get squeezed because 4G adoption will take some time to kind of pick up, and the expansion of market itself may take some time. So in the medium term, in the short term, there would be a pressure on the market share of all the existing players. So top 3 currently account for about 67% of the revenue market share. We could see that going down.
Okay, could you break that 67% up for us?
So that will be about 30% is held by Bharti, and that is followed by Voda and Arcom.
So in general, for the sector as a whole, the question one asks is how much more can ARPUs fall? I mean, we've seen deterioration quite a bit in the last, say, 3 to 6 months. What's your own best guess about how much pressure there could be on the industry ARPUs as a whole?
Yeah, so on the voice ARPUs, we are anticipating a further 5 to 10% decline in FY17. So currently the average realization per minute is about 33 paisa a minute, so that could go down by another 5 to 10%. On the data side, we see the RGO launch could be a major impact, and there the fall could be much more severe, and it could be about 30 to 40% decline after the RGO launch.
Okay, yes, data has the biggest amount of interest, so I'm guessing there would be a lot of pressure over there. But thanks so much for joining us and giving us your thoughts. Well, that's the word coming in on the telecom space. There's only going to be deeper trouble for the current incumbents once Rel Jio launches. But let's do one thing. Let's get you some more market voices.